Our theme is what to serve for your Super Bowl party. So the first thing we have to have is a cheese nacho dip. So what I've chosen to this evening, I had some cheese from a demo I did a couple of days ago, and I kept it in the refrigerator. I just put it in this glass container, put it in the microwave for 2 minutes so it warmed it up, and I'm going to add a can of mild green diced chilies. Okay, we're going to give that a little stir. And we've got our nacho queso. This is the potato carrot cheese. And what I made to go with that is some corn tortillas, the little ones. I put just a tad of salt on them, and I put them in the air fryer for 5 minutes on 400. I got these little mini ones. They're called street tacos, the little, and I quartered those. And let's give it a try. I think this will be a hit. Next thing, we want some chili for that Super Bowl party. I'm going to put my saute on. Let me move some things to the side. Looks like we can see that. Again, this is the Instant Pot. I have it on saute. I'm going to do my whole chili in this. You could do the same thing on the stove. We're going to start by sauteing some onions. I'm going to get just a tad of water here so that we can water saute. Just a tad. We'll get a good steam saute going here. So with the chili, we're going to do tonight, we've got some crushed tomatoes, but we're going to start with some onions. And we're going to add some crushed garlic. This is a garlic press. This is my Pampered Chef one. I have a couple of different kinds, but this one's kind of nice. Just stick your garlic in there. Give it a squish. I like to scrape it off so it's smaller pieces. Normally I would have my onions a little more done, but we'll rush them a little bit here. I hear them coming. In my opinion, you can't have too much garlic. Not everybody shares my love for garlic, but we'll got a couple more pieces in here. Our onions are coming around. So I like a milder chili, but you can make this recipe just as spicy as you like. Get all that good garlic out of there. We don't want to miss any there. All right. We got some steam going here. One thing I like to do in this recipe, we started with the onion. I'm going to add some celery, some red pepper, some garlic, some mushrooms, and but the spices I have in here are paprika, oregano, cayenne, cumin, and chili powder. And I sent out the recipes. You should have gotten them in your, but we'll put them in the link below for those of you that are on YouTube. So what I like to do, and when I was doing my spices today, I actually did two, so I have one ahead. The spices are in this little jar. It's a jar that I saved from another one, empty jar. So all the spices for this recipe are already done up. So I did two. So I have one here that we're going to add to our chili. There we've got the peppers and the celery. We're going to steam those, water saute those for just a few minutes to get them started here. And we're going to add our spices right after we get these sauteed a little bit to enhance, make those spices pop just a little bit. All right. I like mushrooms, and so I've put mushrooms in this recipe. I call this Chef Paulette's chili. I took a couple of recipes, and this is the one I've been making pretty consistently for the last year or so. I like to tell the story that the only award that I've gotten for cooking was at a Veg Fest a couple of years ago in Fort Myers, Florida, and it was a chili cook-off. And this isn't the recipe I used then. I'm not sure I could recreate that one. But anyway, the competition wasn't real stiff, but we had a good time. And I sport that award in the motorhome, carry it around with us to show off. All right. We're going to add our spices now. Normally, I'd probably let it go just a little bit longer, but we're just going to, that's one thing you can, so all my spices. So again, we've got garlic powder, paprika, oregano, cayenne pepper, cumin. Oh, and I want to add chili powder. And I do it very mildly. I want to talk about the cumin. I'll use it again later. Dr. Greger's new book, How Not to Diet, talks about black cumin. It's so good for you. So I've been using black cumin for the last week or so since I learned about that. I found my black cumin on Amazon. I haven't looked for it in town. It was just easy to jump on Amazon. I'm going to throw my mushrooms in here now. I use canned mushrooms, but sometimes I use fresh mushrooms. And yeah, so that's, we're just getting that all steamed up and sauteed. And in a minute here, we're going to start adding the rest of our goodies. So far what we have in here is some chopped onions, some celery, some bell peppers. I do not use green bell peppers. To me, green bell peppers are not ripe. I use the red, the orange, the yellow bell peppers. I have less trouble with those, and I really like the flavor of the ripe peppers. So now I'm going to start adding goodies here. So we've got some crushed tomatoes. And diced tomatoes. 2 cans of diced tomatoes. And tomato sauce. And I'm only going to use part of this tomato paste because we want some of that for another recipe. You can see it's nice and soupy. We got, I like to add a little pizzazz, so this is a mild diced tomatoes, the Rotel. Okay, and kidney beans, rinsed and drained, and some pinto beans. All right, now if you like to add a little protein to your chili, there's enough sauce in here that I like to add soy curls. Now, soy curls are dry. They need to be rehydrated. And we have enough juice in here from the tomatoes that I'm going to take a few out so you can see. They're dry. So if you don't have in what you're making a lot of moisture, you're going to want to rehydrate these, and you can rehydrate these with just hot water, or I like to take a vegetarian chicken seasoning or a vegetable broth, and I bring it to a boil. I make it nice and hot, but since I have enough sauce in here, I'm going to break these up so they're little pieces. Some people feel like they're chicken strips. They have no flavor, so whatever you add to them, whether it's a chicken broth, chicken seasoning, it takes on that flavor. So it's going to take on this mild flavor in this recipe. Again, I'm breaking it up. I could put it in another container and there's some silverware behind you, plasticware. All right. For those that are here, we've got some samples for them, so we're getting some plates and some silverware out for them. They're trying the cheese nacho cheese with chips, and in a little bit we'll do a dip so that they can see what's going on with the dip. So we're going to let this simmer for a little bit, and there's our chili. So our Super Bowl chili. All right. Creamy spinach and artichoke dip. This is will be in the show notes on YouTube when we post it on YouTube, but for those of you that received it in your email. I'm going to start by actually turning my back on you for just a minute. I need to throw these onions. We need to saute the onions and garlic, and then I'm going to come back to the blender. So can y'all still see me? All right, let's get these started here. We're going to put some onions in here. We're going to do some garlic up here. Again, we like to get our onions a little bit sauteed before we add the garlic to it. This dip, I have one in the oven, going to come out in just a minute. I want to talk about the different kinds of cream cheeses. I sent you, I'll put in the link, a cream cheese you can make yourself. I wasn't as pleased with it, partly because I didn't use the coconut oil in it. I was trying to avoid the extra oil. That may have had something to do with it. It may not have. But I want to talk about two cream cheeses that you can buy. I hear my onions sauteing behind me, so I'm going to step back, give them a little stir, add a little water to it, because we want to water saute. We're going to leave that go for a second, and in our blender we're going to add I hear my chili talking to me here. In our blender, we're going to add 1.5 cups of sour cream. Now there's 2 or 3 different kinds of sour cream on the market. This one's a Kite Hill. It's a good product. This is a plain one. Also, and another recipe that I'm going to show you here in just a little bit is a tofutti cream cheese, and I've used it for quite a while and really like it. So we're going to start with 1.5 cups of, oh, this is looking good. Looking real good. Okay, so I'm going to use the whole thing in here. It's about right. So again, this is the Kite Hill brand. So in this recipe, we're going to add to the blender cream cheese, some non-dairy milk. I have some soy milk. This is our favorite soy milk. It only has 2 ingredients in it. The 2 ingredients, just water, soybeans, and water and soybeans. Only 2 ingredients. Doesn't even add any salt, which we really like. So this is the one we use for soy milk. So we're going to add the cream cheese, the non-dairy milk, and only half of the onions and garlic. So we're going to add some vinegar, and then we're going to puree. And this is apple cider vinegar. So I want 3/4 of a cup. This is a half, so I need 1.5 of these. 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. All right. And we're going to use half of our sauteed onions and garlic. And we're going to blend this until it's smooth. Could you take that out of the oven for me, please? Yep. We'll get the other one out here so we can see what it looks like. You need another one? There we go. All right. And right on that platter. All right, now you'll be able to see it's nice and creamy. And now we are going to add the rest of the onions. And garlic. And we're going to add in this bowl. So this is the garlic I use. It's already peeled. And if you get more than you want of it, you can stick it in the freezer and it works just nicely. So in here we're going to add our artichokes and our chopped spinach. And I found the easiest way to do this. We're going to get my glove here. Let's see, I think I'm missing some things here. I want to add 1/2 cup of nutritional yeast. And a little bit of salt, just a tad. Okay. think we've got it all there. And we'll just pulse it a little bit. Okay, now we're going to add that. That's looking good. But I found the easiest way to mix this is with a glove. The one thing I added to this recipe is Whole Foods has a dairy-free Parmesan cheese. And I thought, this would be good on this. So we're going to add a little Parmesan cheese. And let's give it a little taste and see if we need any more flavor. Oh, I think that's going to be a good one. I think I'm going to like that I used this cream cheese rather than the recipe that I made to begin with. This just goes into a pie pan. I think I have a full pan. Oh, this is going to be good. I can tell already. All right, I'm going to give this to Evelyn to stick in the oven for me. And here's the one that we have done. Yes, it goes in the oven at 350 for 25 minutes. So, yep, good question, Evelyn. All right, how's that look to everybody? We see it all? Okay, let's take a taste. I think it'll be a hit. We need some burgers for our Super Bowl party. And this is a new burger that I just recently found. I was talking to a friend and I said, you know what? I over-ordered on my sunflower seeds. What am I going to do with all these sunflower seeds? She says, well, there's some really good patty recipes out there. And so I started looking, and this is the one I found that I really, really, really like. It's called Easy Vegan Burgers Sunshine Seed Burger Patties. And it only has 5 ingredients to it, unless you add, I do add a few extra spices to it. So let's start out. We have sunflower seeds and pumpkin seeds, and we're going to make those into a rough grind. We don't want them too big. We don't want to turn them into butter. So let's give this a whiz. Take a look at this. Okay, I want it just a little bit finer. Okay, let's take a look again. maybe just a hair more. Now on your recipe, it's in grams. So what I did is there's 1 cup of sunflower seeds and a half a cup of pumpkin seeds. And then it says 300 grams of carrots, approximately 2 large ones. And what you do with your carrots, you take and cut, I cut them into coins, clean them, cut them into coins, and I cook them until they're soft. And then I'm going to take them and put them, these have been cooked and they're soft, and I just take my potato masher and mash up my carrots. And the recipe calls for dry parsley, and that's fine. I just happen to have some extra fresh parsley, and that's what I'm going to use today because it needs to be used. I had it nice and cut. So you can see I've got some mashed carrots. I'm going to add my ground up seeds. I'm going to add my fresh garlic that's, that I crushed. And again, I just like to get my hands in things because I can get it mixed up. So I'm going to get a nice handful of parsley here. And you can see how this is going to come together. So again, we've got sunflower seeds, we've got pumpkin seeds. We're going to add a little salt. And what I added, I'm going to add just a little bit of salt. I make my own herb seasoning, so we're going to do a little of that. Probably about a teaspoon. And my homemade chicken seasoning. Between a teaspoon and a tablespoon. The garlic, the fresh garlic gives it an awesome, awesome flavor. I have found that I enjoy these both warm and cold. They freeze nicely, but at this point we like them so well that they haven't made it to the freezer yet. Tonight I made them into slider size, which is a small burger. I've served them with gravy, but tonight we have some slider buns, whole wheat buns, that we're going to put them on. I use a scoop, and I should have saved my, I just scoop them out. Use whatever size scoop you want for burgers. I've made bigger burgers. Doesn't make a lot. You get 11 or 12. You could substitute the carrots. You could substitute sweet potatoes. The recipe suggests some other substitutions, but I really, really like the carrots. Carrots are naturally sweet, so I just wet my hand a little bit, pat them down. And we're going to stick these in the oven, but we have some already ready to go here. So that's what they look like before they're baked, and we've got a platter with what they look like after they're done. Can we see that? All right. That is our sunshine seed burgers. Every party needs a cheese ball. This is called an easy vegan herb cheese ball, and the ingredients are soaked almonds. I have some almonds soaking here since last night. I have some cashew. I do not have cashew. Well, I do. I have a cashew cream cheese here, but I'm liking, this is another one. I showed you Kite Hill in another recipe. This is Tofutti. This is the one I've been using for a long time, and it's a really good product. So we're going to try to make this one with the Tofutti cream cheese. We've got some garlic powder, some lemon juice, some white miso. That's white miso is another product that Dr. Greger in his book How Not to Diet cookbook is another product that is really good for health. And check out that book, and he'll give you the benefits of that. We're going to need some water, some salt, and some nutritional yeast. And then we're going to coat it with pistachios, and I could not find any thyme, and I forgot to bring the chives along. So we're going to do it with dill and pistachios because I really like dill. So I tried this recipe in the blender. It did not work. The food processor works much, much better. So we're going to start with our 2 cups of almonds. These are whole almonds, and they've been soaking. And I need my strainer. All right, we're going to strain those almonds. And I think I'm going to rinse them. You can see a little bit of the in the bottom of this container. I'm just going to quick rinse them off. I found this, if I'm not mistaken, I found the miso at the white miso, I'm pretty sure I got on Amazon. Red miso you can pick up at the Asian store, is a place you can get miso. Also, it's a little ways away for everybody. Jungle Jim's has a nice variety of misos. I got my red miso from there. I'm trying to think of any place in the Dayton area. They may have it at the Asian store, but I'm not 100% sure. Could not find miso. Okay, but Amazon does have it. And it's not a product that has to be, I guess it's cool enough out that it's not a problem. I keep mine in the refrigerator, but yeah. So a good location for miso. I may have to look that up here in town. I'm not exactly sure where we can find that. So I'm going to add, let's see, I'm going to add, I've got my almonds in here. I'm going to add some water and some lemon juice and my cream cheese. So I need water. A third of a cup of water. So let me grab my measuring cup here. All right. And lemon juice. I want 2 tablespoons. 1, 2. And 4 ounces of cream cheese. Again, this is the Tofutti brand of cream cheese. And I only need half of this. Let's give this a whiz. Let's see what we got here. Yep, I think that's pretty good. So now we're going to add the rest of the ingredients and whiz it just a little bit more. So we want a teaspoon of garlic powder, and 2 teaspoons of miso, and it calls for 2 teaspoons of salt. We'll go scant on the salt. I like to use Celtic salt. That's what I've got right here. And we need 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. Let's give that a whiz. Just so that we can incorporate it. Then we're going to take our cheesecloth and open it up. And put all our goodies inside here. So we have almonds and cream cheese, some nutritional yeast, some miso, I think we'll get the rest of the goodies out of here. Another trick is to put this back on, and if you give it a whiz, it'll clean off the blades. See how nice and clean the blades got? And that makes it easier to get the rest out. We're going to take and wrap this little baby up. Pull it up, give it a little twist, leave it right there in the bowl, put it in the refrigerator. Now, the magic of, here's one I did earlier today, and it's been in the refrigerator sitting. And what we're going to do is, I need we are going to put some nutritional yeast and some chopped up pistachios. I chopped those earlier. And I've chosen dill. And we're gonna roll our ball. How nice does that look? All right, got to try a little piece of this. Oh yeah. Got to have some of this. We're gonna do a 7-layer dip, and many of us have done a 7-layer dip. We're gonna start by making a green pea guacamole. We're gonna start with a couple of cups of green peas. There, now we can see what's going on. And we're going to add to that some ground cumin. I lost my cumin. Here we go. Some cumin and some lime juice. And in place of chopped tomatoes, I'm going to add salsa. And let's see, we have some garlic here that we can add to it. A couple of cloves of garlic. And some green onions. And some fresh cilantro. And I'm going to just throw in 1 avocado just for the fun of it. Green peas are a lot lower in fat than avocados and a lot cheaper. Let's give this a whiz and see what we have. Need a lid. Take a little taste here. All right, we're real close here. We need a little salt. And I think just a tad more of cumin. And we're going to add just a little more salsa. Oh yeah, now we're talking. Now we have our guac done. Let's make our 7-layer salad. And let's start with some refried beans. You can make your own, but tonight I chose to I'm going to put that on the bottom layer. Burgers are coming out of the oven. So we've got our layer of refried beans. Now we're going to put down a layer of corn. And I like, this one's a baby white, golden white. I have a hard time finding the shoe peg corn anymore. I love the shoe peg corn. It's especially when I'm making my easy bean salad. Kroger's doesn't carry it anymore, so I don't find it too often. So we've got a layer of corn down, and you might want to add a little taco seasoning to the top of that corn. Not too much, just a little bit. Okay. Then we're going to have a layer of guacamole. And another thing you can do with this recipe is make it like a bar, and that's one of the things that recipe suggests. Would be similar to a type of a haystack. So we've got our guacamole. We're going to add some salsa to this. We're going to add some cherry tomatoes. Some black olives. Sliced or chopped. And we've got some green onions. Another thing you could add to this is lettuce on top, some cilantro, and you got your 7-layer dip. And you just take a serving spoon and there you got your layers. So you can add sour cream, you can add lettuce. There's all kinds of variation to this. All right, 7-layer dip. Here's the Super Bowl.